Hey everyone, my name is Julie and I'm here with SBS International, and we wanted to make you some video resources in hopes to serve you as SBS all around the world with some important content. This video, I'm going to focus on the inductive method. If I was to ask you what is the most important part of the inductive method in SBS in terms of observation, interpretation, or application, what would you say? For many of you, you would probably say application, and I would agree with you. Application is the goal of all Bible study. And without application, our Bible study falls flat and we don't put it into action. Others of you might say interpretation. Again, I would agree with you. Failure to interpret is one of the greatest mistakes when it comes to Bible study. But when I consider the inductive method and the way that we use it in SBS, I think that the most important part is actually observation. And for many of you, that might be a surprise. And so I just want to use this video to explain to you why I think that observation is the most important part of the inductive method. So when we do observation, what is the question that we are asking? The question that we are asking all throughout each observation step is, what does the text say? Not what do we think it says, not what do we want it to say, but what does the text actually say? So if you look at the original steps of the inductive method in SBS, can you tell me how many observation steps there actually are of the original, right? Because things have changed over time. So with the original steps of the inductive method, we actually have 5 steps that are observation. We have the out loud read, paragraph titles, horizontal, inside observation, and outside observation. And each of those steps is asking that question, what does the text say? And so as we ask, what does the text say? Well, if it's just one part of the method, why do we need 5 steps to do it well? And this is why I think it's such an important part for us to really focus on. And what's really interesting when we consider these observation steps is in helping SBSs all around the world, the most common questions that I actually get have to do with the observation steps. It's, why do we do insides, right? Classic example. Or do we actually need to do the horizontal, right? All of these steps are where a lot of our questions come from. And so what I want to do briefly here is just share with you each focus of those steps, because each step is going to ask, what does the text say? But each step is going to have a unique focus. So consider the out loud, right? What is the focus of the out loud read? The focus of the out loud read is to see the main idea or the main message of the book. Then we come to paragraph titles, right? You're asking, what does the text say? But your focus is on the paragraph as a whole. And what you are focusing on in doing that step is, what is the main idea of that paragraph in 4 words or less? Then we come to the horizontal. The horizontal, I think, is probably the most fun thing that we do in SBS. However, it is also the most difficult. So what's the focus, right? What are we trying to get students to do when we teach them the horizontal step? We're trying to get them to ask, what does the text say? But we specifically want them to focus on, how is the book put together? When we create the horizontal, we are making a roadmap for the future study of the book. We are able to divide it, we're able to put it in sections, and ultimately put it into verticals or charts in order to be able to actually take the book piece by piece and observe it really well. And so the horizontal, though it is fun, it is difficult. So again, our focus on the horizontal step is, how is this book actually put together? This will provide a necessary part for us to explore the text further. And then we come to insides. Insides as a step is probably where I get the most questions. Insides are tricky because for several people, the focus differs. And so what I want to explain to you is, what is the focus of insides? In my opinion, the focus of insides is context and what else is important in that paragraph. So consider for a moment, you sit down to do your chart. The first thing that you do is you write in your paragraph titles. And what if you stopped there? What if you went from paragraph titles to outside observation? What would be missing? You're missing the context of those paragraphs. You're missing the other important thoughts within those paragraphs or those main points that you want to see in your insides. So insides is a place to store observation. Insides is not where you put what you colored, because color coding is not actually an original step of the method. What I want you to consider when you do the inside step is, what is the relationship between paragraph titles and insides? not what is the relationship between outsides and paragraph titles or color coding, right? It's focus in on that relationship of paragraph titles and insides. And this gives you that key thing that you need to focus on. What you need to focus on is what else is happening in that paragraph, right? What are the main points and what is the context? That focus in inside observation will really help you go on to the next observation step, which is outsides. So outside observation, again, we're asking, what does the text say? But our focus on outside observation needs to be about, well, what's important? What do we need to look at? What do we want to look at, right? Outside observation is about discovery. It's about using all other 4 steps that you've done in observation previously, and now you get to explore the text on the outside. You get to see what's important. You get to look at the relationships between paragraph titles in order to set you up to interpret. And so I hope that this has kind of helped you see why I think that observation is the most important step. It's the most important part of our inductive method because it sets us up to do the rest. We can't interpret without observation. We can't apply without really examining first, what does the text say? And one final thing to consider when you think about these 5 steps is I want you to imagine the observation steps in SBS like a triangle, right? We are going from the most broad level of observation to the most specific. With the out loud read, it's very broad. When we do our outside read, that is much more specific and we're looking at more detailed things. And so I hope that this helps you just to, again, consider the importance of observation, consider what does the text say, and pay attention to the unique focus of each step.